Most Excel dashboards fail because they aren't interactive. In the next few minutes, you'll learn how to change that. This is the exact reporting workflow used in business intelligence teams, starting in Excel before moving into automation and AI. In the previous video, we established why clean, accurate, and consistent data set it's not negotiable. If you want reports you can actually trust. Without the foundation, even the most advanced analysis will fail. In this video, we move from preparation to execution. You'll learn how to build pivot tables, pivot charts, and slicers, the core building blocks of an interactive Excel dashboard. These tools allow you to summarize large datasets, visualize trends clearly, and explore insights dynamically. We have here a subset of our database, and although it's been simplified just to focus on the revenue for which you want to generate, the pivot table and pivot chart is still quite a huge amount of data at 1,697 data points. Let's generate the pivot table and pivot chart on a separate sheet. I would like to insert the table in cell B2. Let's click on Insert, choose the pivot chart and pivot table. For the pivot table range, let's click on this link, go to the sample database, click on cell A1, then Control A to select the whole database, click back to this link, and click OK. Now for the table, let's set it up with country being in the rows section, and then look for the revenue, place it in the values section. We need to know the sum, so let's change the field setting to sum. Click OK. There you have it. Now I'd like to change the formatting of the number so that we can use 2 decimal places and a comma separator. Let's reposition the chart, resize it too, and to make the chart more organized, let's sort the value in descending order. So the highest revenue will be showing over here at the left, and the lowest revenue will be towards the right. How do we do that? Let's go to Sort and Filter, and let's just sort largest to smallest. And as you can see, the graph automatically adjusts as well. Our next step is formatting the chart. Let's start by adding data labels. Click on the bar chart, go to the chart element, and then click on data labels. We can further format the data labels so that it's not looking cumbersome. We can do that with clicking on the vertical axis, right-click, then Format Axis. Let's change the display units to millions. Let's also tick on Show Display Unit Labels on Chart so that we know that this is in millions. Then let's format the number to show 3 decimal places. Let's do the same to the labels. Format the number. Let's select number. Decimal places, let's change it to 3. What we have now is a representation of the revenues coming from each country. Now, if you want to know the % contribution of each country, we can represent it better with a pie chart. So let's create a pie chart. Let's click anywhere inside the pivot table. And then we go to Pivot Table Analyze, click on Pivot Chart and select the pie chart. Then click OK. Let us reposition this pie chart and the bar charts. And now let us add data labels to the pie chart. It's click on the pie chart, choose Chart Elements, click on Data Labels. Now let's format the data label. By clicking just one data label, it will select all the other data labels. Let's right-click on that and choose Format Data Labels. As you can see, the value is selected. Let's unselect that because we want to show the percentage. And let's also select the category name so that the countries will also show. And then we can remove the legend over here. Let's also further format the chart by removing other chart elements, by unchecking the report filter field button, and also unchecking the show value field button. Over here we can also reposition the orientation of the pie chart. So here, let's change the angle to 45 degrees. And there we go. Let's also format the bar chart by removing these buttons over here. So let's click on the field buttons and just uncheck all of these items here. Okay. Now we have two charts representing total revenue per country and revenue distribution per country. Now to make this chart dynamic, we have to add the slicer. Since the bar chart, the pie chart, and the pivot tables are connected to each other, you can click on any of them to generate the slicer. So since we are on the pivot table, let's click on the pivot table Analyze, and then choose Slicer. Let's choose only the country for now. Press OK. So this slicer will serve as our filter to focus on per country or on multiple countries. So we can also format this, resize, and we can also see two columns for the slicer. Okay, so when you click on Brunei, it will only show us the revenue for Brunei. If you click on Thailand, it will only show us the revenue for Thailand. But if you want to click on multiple countries so that the pie chart distribution will make sense, and let's click on Brunei as well, and Indonesia, Philippines, Malaysia, Singapore, Vietnam. So now, every click we make is automatically updating the pie chart, the bar chart, and the pivot table. To perform a deeper analysis, let us add one more slicer. So let's go again to Pivot Table Analyze. Click on Slicer. Let's add product line this time. So what will happen here is that we can drill down to the revenue contribution of each product line. So let's say, for example, you want to see the revenue from drilling. You click on drilling and the chart will update with revenues coming from the drilling product line. Click on logging and you will see the distribution again. And if you want to focus on one country only, then you can choose to click only on Brunei. This means that for Brunei, logging revenue is $50,000. For Brunei, drilling revenue is $2.542 million. And measurements revenue from Brunei is $3.273 million. So as you can see in an instant, you will be able to learn so many things about your revenue because of the power of the slicers, which is filtering automatically your data based on what you want to focus on. If you noticed, I purposely left the chart title because I want to use it as a dynamic title that shows the total revenue, depending on the country and product line combinations that we want to focus on. The try title accepts a manual input, or it can also be referenced to another cell that contains text. For example, I can type here, total revenue, or I can also have the title reference its value here on the cell. For example, let's say total revenue equals enter. And what we'll do is we'll click on the title, go to the formula bar, type equals, and then click on the cell where the title is referenced to, and click enter. So as you can see, the chart title changed to the value of the cell that it was the reference to. Let's increase the size of the text to make it more legible. Let's also make it bold. As we said, we wanted the chart title to update with the total revenues. We can get the total revenue from the grand total of the pivot table, which is this one. So we want to combine this with the value here. However, the reference of this grand total is moving. So for example, we click on drilling only. Now the grand total is one cell above. So how do we do this? What we can do is we can capture the grand total by referencing it. So this is also the reason why I deliberately left one row above the pivot table when we were setting up. So we can just type here equals and then click on the grand total table, press enter. So even though the grand total position is moving, this cell will always be referencing the grand total of that pivot table. Okay, so now that we got that sorted, next thing to do is add this value to this cell here. So the way to do that is we can type equals, double quotations, because this is a text that we want to keep. Go to the end, double quotations again, put a space so that we can easily understand the formula when we review it later on. Type and space, and then let's convert this into text. Say text, click on the reference, and format will be number, comma, because you want to have a comma delimiter, number, close quotations, close parentheses. So there you go. Our header is now going to automatically update. Let's test it. Let's click on Brunei. Total revenue of Brunei is 5.8 million. That's considering all the product lines. What if we want to know only the drilling revenue of Brunei? So we click on drilling, and the total also changes. So from here, it's just a matter of editing your charts. We can make this a more visible text, so we increase the text size. Or you can also choose to make the bar chart wider. Right, click on it. Format data series. We can go to the gap width. We can reduce the gap width to say 100%, and the bars are now thicker. For the title of the pie chart, we can just leave this as a static title because it's a distribution. It will always be 100%, so there's no point on making that dynamic. So let's just call this revenue distribution per country. And then we just have to adjust your chart so that it will look more presentable. We can right-click on but, form a data series, and maybe adjust the angle of the pie chart, and now you'll see that it automatically reformats itself to make the labels more legible. Okay, so this concludes our video for today. With this, you have learned how to create dynamic charts, some chart formatting to make your charts more presentable, and also you have learned how to make your chart title dynamic. If you want to go beyond static Excel reports and start building analysis that scales into automation and AI, this is where it starts. Subscribe to Workcell Frontier and follow this series as we move from Excel fundamentals to power tools, automation, and AI-driven analysis.